I have often wondered, why is it so easy for third worlders to so easily fool ordinary Westerners? I'm only going to talk about the Anglosphere countries, but I'm pretty sure the situation might not be that different with the French and the Germans and the Austrians and all of these other Western European people. Why is it that an ordinary third worlder can come to the West and easily seduce, let's say, an ordinary British person? I've been to England. I've lived in England for a little bit, and I noticed, despite having subtle cultural differences, because obviously Australia, America, Canada, Britain, they diverge, but they all originated from a similar culture. It is because, in my opinion, Anglosphere countries have had their own cultural evolution and they managed to build high trust societies. I'll give you a little example. When I first came to Australia, I noticed people trust each other. When you tell someone that, hey, here it is 20% down payment, why don't you come and mow my lawn, for example? Now, that's not to say that fraud doesn't occur, but I can assure you, as someone who was born and raised in Pakistan, and any other Pakistani will second that, it's a dog eat dog world in the third world. They backstab each other, they defraud each other all the time, which is the reason why when those people come to the West, they do similar dodgy things and ordinary Westerners are left scratching their heads like, oh, hang on, I thought we shook hands on this. Why the deal is not being honored? It's because the third world culture is very different from Anglosphere culture. And that is the difference between high trust societies and low trust societies. For example, in a country like Pakistan, someone would pretend to be a very pious religious person. Although if you follow Islam, then piety does not necessarily mean honesty. That is because Islam is a very insidious ideology. And you can see it all around you. People who pretend to be very nice and moral, but for some reason, they see nothing wrong in stabbing the back of the very people who welcome them with open arms. You could forgive some of these people for being confused, because what do? If you have sworn your loyalty to Islam, then Islam comes first. America, Britain, your loyalty to any of these adopted countries has to be secondary. So they are conflicted. How can they be loyal to America when American values are in direct conflict with Islamic values? When Islam and Muhammad told you to go out, conquer the world, spread Islam, then obviously you have to include all these infidel countries as well. But there is an inner struggle taking place in the minds of these Muslims as well. For example, Muslims, and that's without fail, you can test it yourself, love secularism in foreign countries, but they want no secularism in their own countries. No people are more aware of this fact than the Indians, because Indians have suffered a lot. They brought this to my attention. Have a look at this guy, okay? I'm going to read this guy's tweet that he posted about 24 hours ago. Look at him. His name is Dr. Asif Mahmood. Let me show you his face so you know. That guy. So he's saying Mayor Mamdani has a moral, civic, and professional responsibility to ensure that iconic public spaces in New York, like Times Square, are not used to legitimize leaders of organizations with a deeply controversial record on religious nationalism and the treatment of minorities. You must be thinking, ooh, he's calling out the bad apples of the Muslim community. No. He is a Pakistani. Alongside Jews, they have this deep-seated hatred for Hindus. Mohan Bhagwat, I don't know about this guy, irrelevant, and the RSS cannot be exempt from the same scrutiny applied to others accused of promoting hatred or intolerance. Right. I double-checked. Has he ever called out radical Islamists? Never. We must demand consistent standards against repression, hate, and discrimination everywhere and against everyone. They love to make these blanket statements, but that don't mean them. Who is this guy? Why am I showing him to you? Before I go further, this is his tweet that he posted back in 2017, okay? He said, Pakistan was founded and carved off from India on the basis of Islam. Suddenly he becomes an Islamist. it should rightly remain so and ruled by Muslim leaders. Give no breath to Sikhs and Hindus. By the way, about 3% of Pakistan's population is made up of Hindus and Christians and some Sikhs. According to the Pakistani constitution, no non-Muslim can be the head of state. That is open constitutional discrimination. But you wouldn't hear the UN or these useful idiots in the West talk about that, okay? But these people openly broadcast their discrimination. It's a land of Islam, inshallah, God willingly, meaning it will remain the land of Islam. You got to remember, Muslims consciously, subconsciously, openly, secretly divide the world into two spheres. Darul Islam, Darul Harb. Pakistan is Darul Islam, meaning the house of Islam. Darul Harb is the house of war, meaning America. So, Harris, why are you showing us this Pakistani? What have we got to do with him? Now, let me show you who he is. This is that guy. This is his website. Dr. Asif Mahmood. Let me show you. For Congress. Yes, he's running for Congress. The same guy who doesn't want any secularism in Pakistan in his home country. He wants Pakistan to be ruled and governed by only Muslims. Look at his propaganda website. Helping people, not any political party. Yeah, right. Dr. Asif Mahmood is a pulmonologist and doctor of internal medicine. Again, these guys are educated, but they're so conflicted, they can't even see their own hypocrisy. He is urging Mayor Mamdani not to allow this Hindu extremist have whatever function or whatever he was doing in New York, but he's got no problem in being an open bigot against the non-Muslim community of Pakistan. But when they come to America, look at this. He's been living in America since 1999. That tweet that I showed you of his, this one, as you can see, he posted that nearly 10 years ago in 2017. So he had been living in America for nearly 18 years when he espoused these views. But here he is. Asif has based his life's work on a single principle taught to him by his parents, that helping others is our highest calling. Don't fall for that. Let me go back to my original point. This is how they fool you. Because when you look at it, a smiling man, a loving, happy family, his kids are wearing Western clothes. Despite this facade, despite this fake public-facing image, despite all of that, this is what they hold in their hearts. And again, sometimes it comes out, just like Mehdi Hasan, who pretends to be a liberal woke person. Yeah, he pretends to be a liberal socialist, open-minded woke person. But who can forget his infamous video where he was calling non-Muslims, just like him, sometimes, it just comes out accidentally, just comes out. All that hatred that they have learned, that they have been indoctrinated with over their entire lives, sometimes it just spills out into their public life. This is Mehdi Hasan, the woke person.
In Islam, the ends do not justify the means. This idea is totally alien to Islam. In Islam, what is halal, what is haram. We do not bend our law, our morality for our short-term aims.
But he has done that now. He has publicly apologized for this video. And I got to ask him, what do you mean? He would never, he never engages with me. Has he disowned these views? He says he has disowned these views. So you got to ask him, so what do you mean by halal? So is halal haram now and haram halal now? Do ends justify the means now? What do you mean? Because this is the open stated policy of the Muslim Brotherhood and he's affiliated with them. Maybe not openly, but clearly he's more aligned with the Muslim Brotherhood than he is with American values. But for the world, publicly, he presents his modern liberal face. And he says, no, I didn't mean this. But just like the other guy, sometimes their inner views come out in public. Okay? This is obviously a very old clip. He didn't know that he's going to become that influential later on in his life. So he's a sharp talker, yeah? He's a smooth talker, just like Abdul Al-Sayed. Abdul Al-Sayed is another face of this guy. These guys are not liberals. They pretend to be liberal, just like this guy. Yeah? Look at this. He put up his photo. He's put up his family photo. Oh, his life's work on a single principle taught to him by his parents, that helping others is our highest calling. But sometimes, as I said, these views come out accidentally. And that's exactly what's happening here with Mehdi Hasan.
and we never lose the moral high ground. If we know anything as Shias of Muhammad, as Shias of Ali, as Shias of Hasan, as Shias of Hussein, we know that keeping the moral high ground is key. Once we lose the moral high ground, we are no different from the rest of the non-Muslims, from the rest of those human beings who live their lives.
Let me point out his open contradiction. You know, everyone knows there's no scholar worth his salt would say that homosexuality is halal, meaning legal or moral or acceptable in Islam. And here he's saying that we don't bend our rules. We don't say ends justify the means. So, you know, means being turn halal into haram, haram into halal. We don't do that. So now, openly in the world, he is an ally of the LGBTQ community. So Mehdi Hasan, which one is it? Is it that or the ends justify the means? Or which one is it? Or the ends justify the means? Is homosexuality legal in Islam now?
The rest of those human beings who live their lives as animals, bending any rule to fulfill any desire.
You guys are animals in his eyes. Or you were.
Once we do that, we are lost.
Yeah. Kuffar, i.e. you, the infidels, have diseased minds. Imagine what he thinks about the LGBTQ community, but publicly he says, LGBTQ, they're fine people.
Islam, to believe is to know. To disbelieve is not to know. That is what it fundamentally comes down to. It is to remain ignorant, to cover up knowledge. After all, what is kafir? Kafir comes from the root word, which means to cover up, to conceal. The kafir is the one who covers up that knowledge which is clear.
So he's a kafir now because he knows homosexuality is haram, is illegal. Why are you supporting that, Mehdi Hasan? Because the ends justify the means, yeah? And the end being, you know, spreading Islam or the Islamic takeover.
The French Orientalist scholar Lamens, he once wrote that the Quran is not far from considering unbelief, disbelief as an infirmity, as an illness, as a disease of the human mind. SubhanAllah. Non-Muslims point this out to us.
Well, Mehdi Hasan on atheists, kuffars and disbelievers, people of no intelligence. Now he's talking
And of course,
about
the
people like me.
kafirs, the disbelievers, the atheists who remain deaf and stubborn to the teachings of Islam, the rational message of the Quran, they are described in the Quran as, quote, a people of no intelligence. Allah describes us.
At least we're not deceptive as you. At least we don't stab people in the back. We are who we are. We stand up for what we believe in. But not like you. We are the ones who don't say that the ends justify the means.
Not of no morality, not of no belief, a people of no intelligence. Because they are incapable of the intellectual effort it requires to shake off those blind prejudices, to shake off those easy assumptions about this world, about the existence of God. In this respect, the Quran describes the atheists as cattle.
Ooh, we're cattle.
As cattle, as those who go with the crowd, and do not stop and wonder about this world.
We wonder a lot about the world. We just don't think that the sky is a dome, and sometimes pieces from that dome break off and fall onto us. We're not as stupid as you, or as Muhammad envisioned. There are 7 skies, the 7 levels, all bullshit.
All of these ulama unanimously agree that at the very minimum, if Yazid was not a kafir, then at the very minimum, he was a fasir, a transgressor, a breaker of Islamic laws, a corrupt.
Yazid was the guy who killed Imam Hussein, the grandson of Muhammad, and he is a Shia, and Yazid was a Sunni. That's where the divide between the Sunnis and Shias started. So he's obviously a Shia, so that's why he's going after Yazid. And Sunnis don't like Yazid, but Sunnis like Yazid's father.
Individual, a tyrant, a killer, a drunkard, a dog lover, a music lover.
A dog lover? He was a drunkard and a dog lover. Even see why they hate you? Because you love your dogs. Westerners love their dogs. So ask him again. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? So suddenly it's okay to love your dogs? Guys, this is a duplicitous face of Muslims. You don't know. You just don't know any good Muslim that you see. And I'm telling you, there are many good Muslims. Okay? I'm sorry they're irrelevant. And I include my family members in that too. They are irrelevant. And I am saying that even those good Muslims will have to make a choice. Okay, it's either Islam. No, not this wishy-washy version of Islam that they can easily hide behind. No, Islam is a religion of peace. Kind of like the BS that this guy presents to the world now. Either you disown Islam or you go back. There is no place for Islam in the West. These are the correct teachings of Islam. Mehdi Hasan was being truthful right here. And just like this guy is being truthful here. In the Muslim land, no non-Muslim can be a head of state. That cannot happen.
Sexual, a pedophile, a sexual deviant, someone who slept with his own mother, astaghfirullah.
A homosexual. I don't think he was a homosexual, but there you go. See the hatred for homosexuals and the LGBTQ community? Simps for this guy. Idiots.
These are their views of these ulama in their books, not my view, not Imam Hussein's view, not Ayatollah Sistani's view. This is their view about Yazid. It's all there in black and white.
So he has backtracked from these views. So I'm going to ask him, so what has happened? So has homosexuality since been legalized in Islam? He would never answer you this. He would never answer you this. The apology is an affront because he knows that in order for him to keep fooling the stupid left, he has to disown these views. But I bet my life, I am betting my life, I'm happy to debate him on any front, on any platform. This guy still holds these views. Because if he doesn't, then according to his own definition, he's a fasik at the very least. Fasik is the lowest level of being a Muslim. He's a fasik if he's not an infidel. It's just the 1 degree below being an infidel. So he's either an infidel or a fasik because he's disowning these views, the views that have been central to Islamic values and teachings for 1400 years.
Yet Allah should be pleased with such a man. Astaghfirullah. Allah should be pleased with him. Indeed, the fact is, and this is important, Yazid is not simply a fasiq. He was an out-and-out kafir.
Okay, at the end he calls him a kafir. Okay, fine, whatever. We don't care about their internal divisions between Sunnis and Shias. Who gives a fuck? But the purpose of this video was to show you that this is why it is so easy to fool ordinary Westerners, because you have had a completely different trajectory of your societal and cultural evolution. You refined your values over many centuries, and that's how you managed to create some of the most successful societies in human history. I keep saying that. The West is the greatest civilization humanity has ever come up with. So much so that you became too good for yourself. And that's why you developed a blind spot and you started importing these people who you thought will be impressed by your values, by your achievements. But no, that's not how the world works. You created high trust societies. These people come from low trust societies where they don't even trust their neighbors. They don't. This is what they do to their immediate surroundings. This is Birmingham. This is Birmingham. Look at that. This is a Muslim area of Birmingham. Their mayor, Zakir Chaudhry, a Muslim. Everywhere you go, everywhere. Look at this. This is how they treat their neighborhood. Look at this guy. He's taking out trash. He's not hiring a big bin. He's not loading up his ute or utility vehicle or whatever you call it in your country, filling it up with trash and dump it in the tip. No. Why do that? Why spend $400 or $500 or $200, whatever that is? Just dump it there right in front of it and it becomes someone else's problem. The more you import these people, the worse your society will get. It'll become ugly. It'll become dirty. It'll become a low trust society. And eventually it will be ruled and governed by these people and Islam. Stop simping for Islam. Keep Islam out of your countries.